stress in a proper perspective is not a bad thing. So many people are imbalanced when it comes to stress. Working on having a balanced life, focusing on community. Do you have friends you can trust that love you? Are you doing things you enjoy? Are you taking a break from work? Are you sleeping? Are you getting away from technology? Those things I feel like really help with stress.
In life, we experience highs and lows. We may even call it stress and joy. But what do we do when we feel those two things? How do we find Jesus in our stress and in our joy? And we're back, Switch. Welcome to another episode of Must Have Jesus. In the past couple of conversations with Justin and Andrew, we've looked at things like influence, as well as how to find healing. And today we're talking about dealing with stress and finding joy with Jesus.
All right, so last time we talked about influence, and today we're talking about stress and joy. Would you say that you have a high stress tolerance, or do you just put that on for the camera?
Both.
It's definitely grown over the years, though. I feel like when we first started, not so much, but now not much can phase us.
Listen, like probably, I don't know, 20, 30% of the things we do, I wouldn't do if we were just doing it for fun. Since we're filming it and making a fun video, I'm like, got to do it for the video.
What is the most nerve-wracking thing that you've ever done for content?
Top two. Just recently, I did skydiving again for the second time, and I was insanely nervous. I'd done it before, but just skydiving, falling out of a plane, I was thinking I was going to die. It was awful, but I'm here. So that was one. Two was sleeping on the edge of a cliff, like in the middle of a cliff on a bed, like straight cliff, like a bed right here.
My number one would be at the Dangerous Hotel. The guy made this homemade swing that he lowered us out on this like crane device, lowered us down to the ocean. And minutes before we did this, he noticed the wire was corroded and he had to weld together a new one real quick and then said it was fine.
And how high up was this?
This was probably 75, 80 feet in the air. But
there are sharks in the water, big waves.
Yeah, that was awful. I was genuinely like, why are we doing this? That made me so nervous.
So that's 4 out of thousands. You want more?
Those all sound like nightmares I have.
I know.
Recent studies show that Gen Z is the most stressed out generation ever before. And stress isn't always a bad thing, but we also never aim to be stressed. Our goal actually is to find rest. I love this topic because to different degrees, every one of us feels stressed. Like that's something we can all relate to. If you had any encouragement or anything that you would just say like, hey, this is how I think you can find peace today, you know, how would you encourage our students with how they could find peace today?
One verse that like sticks out to me is just that today has its own worries and don't worry about what's coming tomorrow. Every single day has enough to worry about. So if you can just get through today, then like you'll be able to get through tomorrow, and then you just take it one day at a time.
I think stress in a proper perspective is not a bad thing. I feel like so many people are imbalanced when it comes to stress. So I'd say working on having a balanced life. So focusing on community. Do you have friends you can trust that love you? Are you doing things you enjoy? Are you taking a break from work? Are you sleeping? Are you getting away from technology? Those things I feel like really help with stress.
I mean, it'd be easy for us to work every single day making content, but we put it in our schedule and have it like dedicated out. Like we only film Monday through Friday and we take the weekends off like intentionally for that reason of like, we don't want to get burned out. We don't want to have an overabundance of stress. So it's like work in those times to take time off, to take breaks.
Yeah, because we've had plenty of those moments where, you know, sometimes we do work on weekends and whatnot, but like we've learned through experience. And so trying to maintain consistency is very important.
Like there's a difference between like true joy and just like happiness. Like happiness is like just like an emotion you feel when you get something you asked for Christmas. But like that joy, like that inner joy is something that can go through stressful moments, can go through day to day, like that can last for a lifetime once you find that and are able to press into that.
Yeah. And if you surround yourself with people you love and care about, like, you guys ever had those like really deep belly laughs that are like, I feel like they happen rarely. Man, those like moments I wish I could have like every day. But when I have them, I'm like, man, like I am experiencing joy right now because I'm laughing with people I love and I'm experiencing joy. So
Matthew chapter 6, verses 31 through 34 say, "So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Maybe you're stressed about making the basketball team, a test coming up, what you're gonna do once you graduate. Maybe you're stressed wondering if your parents are gonna stay together. All those things are real, and I can imagine they put a ton of stress in your life. But what if in the middle of all that stress, you chose to seek God's kingdom first? The truth is that we're always gonna have stress in our life. That's unavoidable. People let us down, things change, the world is crazy. And we can't change those things, but we can change how we respond. When we live our life from a place of stress and focusing on what's to come tomorrow, we miss out on what God is doing right now, what he wants to speak to you right here in this moment. We don't go to God just when it's a last resort or we have no other option. We go to him first. We go to him with all of our cares and our anxieties, everything that's on our mind and our heart, he cares about. He cares about the details of your life. So instead of operating from a place of stress and fear, we get to operate from a place of faith and trust. We're all going to experience stress, but the question is what are we going to do with it? When we live from a place of stress, we miss out on what God is doing in our life right here in the moment. So my challenge for you this week are, what are some practical ways that you can trust God? Thank you for being a part of this conversation of Must Have Jesus. We'll see you back next time as we finish it up.